Welcome, everybody, to another live edition of Man's Night. I'm your host, Jay. Thank you guys so much for being here and being a part of this very epic and educational podcast. I appreciate you guys being here. Let's go ahead and get in the chat real quick before we start our little Q&A here. I want to give a major shout out to Undertaker44. What's going on, my man? Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you, as always. And as always, we have Curtis. How you doing, my friend Curtis? Thank you so much for being there, and I hope you're doing good over there in your neck of the woods. It's nice to see you. And, of course, we do have other people that are on this platform, but the comments don't come up here for whatever reason. I can't still figure it out what causes that, but nonetheless, thank you to all of you. You know where you're at, whether it's on YouTube or other platforms. Thank you so much for being here and tuning in and watching this podcast. All right, so as you guys can see in the title description of this video, we're going to be talking about the just array of things, actually, just Q&A. So this is where you guys get involved. As you guys can see on my channel, I have over 7,000 subs now, and it's an amazing event nonetheless. So I want to give kind of back to the community, the people that are supporting this channel. So it's just a respectful thing to do nonetheless. So hopefully you're all in here. I'll let you guys have some time to get in here and go from there. But let me know how you guys are doing. And if you have any questions for me or anybody else in the chat, Curtis got in here and said, let me find where it is. I'll start here. He said this. He said, "Hello, class." Yeah, in a sense, that's what it feels like, isn't it? Like school's in. Thank you, Curtis, for that funny comment nonetheless. And we have, where is it at? Oh, Sora, Nightstorm. Hey, that's a cool name. Anyways, welcome in. And hi there, Jay. Thank you. Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you also. And then, of course, Curtis got in here a little bit earlier and said this: "We need a class action lawsuit." Yes, absolutely. And I think I know what you're talking about. And I'm going to try to, if time is permitted, I'm going to try to show that here tonight, because I think it's very, very important that we get that information out and let you know what's going on with that. So a lot of changes are in the works. There are some things going on in the higher courts, when it comes to certain laws and whatnot, and certain things are starting to look positive, if you will, for us felons. So I will be sharing that here tonight if there's time. So we're going to go ahead and fire away. Besides me showing that updated news when it comes to laws and whatnot a little bit later tonight for the share screen, as far as right now, if anybody on here has any questions for me or anybody in the chat, because I think Tammy was going to try to get up in here and get on the panel. So if you guys have any questions for her, fire away. And then Curtis said this real quick, just so you guys have an idea who's all here. So Curtis, my friend, said this: "Sue our states." Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. It's going to be a lot of work and most likely probably a lot of money. But nonetheless, it'll be worth it at the tail end. So I'm right there with you, my friend, nonetheless. Sora gets in here and says, "I've been watching some crazy stuff going on lately around the world." Yeah, me too. And to be honest with you, it is very depressing, depending on what it is. And, I don't like, after I watch stuff like that, going to bed depressed. So I try to steer away from a lot of that stuff, because it's hard to believe what's real or what's not in the news anymore, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, I totally agree with you there, Sora. Absolutely. And Curtis gets in here real quick in the chat and says, "And federal government." Yeah, I agree. All across the board, my friend. Absolutely. So is there anybody besides you all that's in the chat here tonight? Is there anybody in here that want to ask any questions, please do. Ask me anything. If it's prison related, I most likely can answer it. If it's not prison related, then I can probably find somebody that could answer it. But nonetheless, that's what this whole entire hour show is for. So if you have any questions, concerns, comments, whatnot, let's get in the chat and ask away. This is where you guys can be a part of this podcast instead of just, always me, if you get the idea. So, so I told you guys before, this podcast is for you guys. And we need to continue to do the education thing and put the facts out there and get rid of all of the hype and whatnot. Let's see. Curtis got in here and said this. And federal government. I think you already said that. Wait, where'd it go? Yeah, I was that up there twice. Anyway, Sora got in here and says I may have to ask off screen. Well, depends on what it is, Sora. If you, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the tough one. I mean, I don't know what it is. Why would you want to ask it off screen? But then yet I respect that, I guess, in a sense. So nonetheless, we will take it as is, I guess, and go from there. But if you want to ask me and you don't want to put it up here, I get it. It is what it is that you're doing. You can email me. Now, Sora, I don't know if you can see the ticker down there, right there. My email is voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Once again, voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. And you can ask me from there if you want. Make sure you spell it the way you see it on there too, by the way, or I won't get it. So anyways, Tammy's in here. Hey, Tammy, how you doing? Thank you so much for being in here. Hope you're doing okay in your neck of the woods. Again, you're more than welcome to come up and be part of the Q&A if you want, Tammy. So welcome in, Tammy. And then Curtis says, what did the Supreme Court overturn R2A restrictions? I'm going to show you a video, Curtis, a little bit later in the broadcast here tonight. So stick around. Don't go nowhere. I'm going to show you some videos that came off of I totally forgot where it came from. But anyways, I'm going to show you those real quick. And you can watch them in your own thing, and we can go from there. All right. So I'm going to answer your question, but it'll be a little bit later. All right. So respectfully on that. Anyways, love and light to all. My friend Tammy said, "Hi Tammy, thank you so much for being here." And Curtis said, "Hi Tammy," and Tammy said, "Hi Curtis." All right. So if there's anybody in here besides the questions that have already been asked, please go ahead and ask it. Looks like Tammy's coming up in here now on the panel. So welcome, Tammy. How you doing, Tammy?
I'm doing better. I got to hear somebody's voice that I haven't heard in almost 3 months.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. So is he okay?
2 days of intake, and he's still in intake, though, by the way.
I'm not surprised.
No medical still. So
yeah,
the fight is going down Monday. I'm dead.
But all in all, besides all of that, Tammy, how's he doing?
He's hanging pretty tough. I mean, it's hard because, like, he's put in, I don't know, like 4 I-60s now for medical. And this is a funny thing. They came and got him yesterday morning, it was this morning. What's today's Friday? Yesterday morning, they came and got him, said that he had a lay-in and if y'all don't know what lay-ins are, they're like appointments or somewhere that they have to take a prisoner. They call it a lay-in.
Right.
At least in Texas. I mean, I think it's universal, isn't it, Jay?
It's a mixed bag of each prison calls it something different. So
okay. Yeah. So anyway, he had a lay-in to go to dental, and he's thinking, well, maybe they're going to ask me to work. Maybe my job. Maybe they're going to keep me here. Maybe they're going to keep him here, and so he was like thinking, oh, it was something good, right? So he goes to dental, and they're like, what tooth is bothering? He's like, I didn't ask to come to dental. I put in for medical, and they said, oh, so you don't need any dental? And he's like, no. He says, well, no, you can go back. And they took him back.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, it looks like maybe some of the stuff from our advocates are working. You know.
I was like, what now? So they took him to dental, which he didn't need to go to, but he needed to go to medical. And Curtis, I'm not purposely ignoring you. His charges are pretty horrific. It
Yeah.
was all based on hearsay, no evidence in his case whatsoever. None, not
Yeah.
one shred of evidence to back the things that were said. And he
Yeah.
was convicted under the hearsay law. And
Right.
that's as far as I can go with it because right now I'm working very, very hard on his case.
Yeah.
And I don't really like to get into, I can talk about some things, but some things I try to be very, very careful about.
Right. Well, and you're looking out for your husband right now. On that note, it's not that you're hiding anything. It's just one of those things that, being that the case is being investigated on your behalf and whatnot, we got to be careful what we say. So that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
So
So that's why, Curtis. I mean, I'd love to talk to you. I know I say it all the time. I'm trying so hard, guys. I've just had a lot going on at work,
yeah.
too.
Well, and you're all, in a sense, I don't want to say you're by yourself, but when it comes to where you live and whatnot, in a sense, you are by yourself, and it feels like you're alone, but you're not because you got some great people here. So
Oh, yeah.
you know,
I love you guys. You guys keep me going. I don't know if I say it enough. I've met some wonderful people in the advocacy groups that are online
correct,
because Texas has a really good thing
correct,
as far as that goes with Facebook
Mhm.
and TikTok. There are some really good groups.
Right.
Man, we need to figure that out too. But like they have some really good ones, and Jay has a Facebook. You guys,
Mhm.
if you go on there, his From Inside Out is on there too. So
Yeah,
don't forget to join him there. I mean, I'm trying to get my ducks in a row. I've just a little bit.
it
I've
just
had a
takes
lot of
time.
interviews. I've
I
had
know.
like 4 interviews this week.
Wow,
I'm trying to move up in my company because you know what? Money, 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 money,
it's always
money
about
rules the
that, isn't it?
world, isn't it?
Yep.
I hate it. I absolutely hate that our world is that way.
Yep.
So, did anybody have any questions from last night's or
Yeah.
Wednesday night that I missed? I'm so sorry. Was there anything about those particular articles or anything that Jay discussed or showed? The
Mhm.
video I knew was really, really good on
Yeah.
that one, that particular topic.
Yeah. Well, we can recap, I guess, in a sense for this session for tonight, if you want. I'm watching the chat live, so I'm watching for questions coming in here. Um, but
Curtis said some of them he told you.
let me see
Um,
what he's talking about here. Sir Curtis said this. He says, "I saw a lot in my short time in prison." Okay. And then he asked this or said this. Some of them I told Jay. Okay. Yeah. And again, we do talk a lot in private. So we do have a lot of stuff that, again, keep in mind with all due respect to YouTube as a whole and whatnot. And I have to keep certain things on the DL because, again, it can cause a lot of issues like Tammy, so, but yeah, I get what you're saying, Curtis. Thank you. That was very awesome for Curtis to say that. Look at this, guys. Jay is like part of my family, man.
no, no, no. We're all family. That's all there is to it. We're a tribe. We're a community. And we're built on a really close knit foundation. And we're gonna continue that path and continue to grow because you know what? Love spreads faster than hate. We
Yeah,
all have
absolutely.
common
And
goals
Curtis,
here.
man, if you can hear me, man, thank you so much for that statement. I mean, that means a
You're
lot to
so
me. That's
sweet.
you're saying more things than my own dang DNA blood father would say. So that I take that wholeheartedly. Thank you so much for that, Kurt.
Yeah. It means a lot when people think of you like that because
What's rare?
we have, well, you know what it is though? He's genuine. His feelings are genuine, they're honest, they're truth. Listen, people that hate on other people, it's because they don't know, and some of them aren't capable. And I don't know how to put this, but some people are not capable of those emotions. for
No.
whatever damages they have inside themselves. Some of it, I mean, I get a little religious in this sense, in higher spirits, higher sense of self, higher of everything. Some
Yeah.
people are literally so damaged they're swimming in their own evil.
Well, do you remember when I told you? I don't know. I think it was like a couple days back or whatever. I said, "Did you know misery loves company?"
Yep.
And I see that more and more now than anything else, and it's sad. But anyways, Sora said this, or I just say Nightstorm. Seems easier to say. It is like the Buddhists, I think that's the word, say talk about the past can still cause harm to people.
Yeah, because you'll see on TikTok a lot, especially on the spiritual
Hmm.
channels, they'll be there telling everybody, "Oh, do your shadow work, buy a shadow workbook, do all the shadow work, do this, do that." Okay, so shadow work, I don't know if you know,
Welcome
but
in, Undertaker.
it's like dealing with all your past childhood traumas and stuff and working through it, the shadow workbooks. But this friend of mine, and I respect him very, very highly, he said, when you do that, you're actually causing more harm than you are good because
Right.
you're just dredging up the past instead
Correct.
of focusing on what's in front of you and building off of those milestones. Look, we all had to have those rocks and those boulders and those things. They built mountains. That's
Correct.
how all that tragic stuff, like volcanoes and all the things that have to happen, they create life.
Hmm.
It's tragic at first because
Hmm.
it's got all that molten and lava and it's going everywhere and killing everything in its path. But once it's done, it's created a surface upon which people live and
Yep.
breathe, and it
Yep.
makes an island and all the life that comes after that. So,
Yep.
I mean, we as people have to remember to get on that foundation and build.
Correct.
I think so. And then Undertaker, I can read what he said. You had it
Okay.
up, but amen. All we got in this life is memories. We got to love on each other. I wish everyone understood this. God bless.
Yeah.
Well, Undertaker, I believe that we can spread that. I think that's what we're trying to
We
get
can do
to.
better. We can do more, and we can do better.
Yep.
But unfortunately, trying to tell that to certain individuals is like beating a dead horse.
Well,
It's
we
like,
have to just walk past them and let them keep going. Well, man, I wish I was a part of that group. And then hopefully some of them will realize that they could be a part of something wonderful and great that makes good things happen, or they can kick rocks.
yep.
Better part of
Well,
way to
this is
say
the
it.
thing I don't get, Tammy, and maybe you can touch base on it, or anybody in the chat. One thing I don't get. Hey, Trey Stone, how you doing? It's the part that I don't get is why do people still want to live in the past instead of live for the now or possibly the future? That's what I don't get.
I think some people, I think depending on the person, they're hammered in so much. Most of the time, okay, here's a good one. Here's a good one. You take a couple, right? And one person cheats on the other or whatever, and then the other person cheats on the other person, right?
Hmm.
Can the couple survive that by living in the past? But do you ever really get over the betrayal of the trust broken? And the only way
Well,
to do that is to do what?
well, I would say forgive, but some people can't.
Some people are not capable of forgiveness. They're also not capable of
Or empathy.
loving themselves enough and putting their own shit out there and trusting in themselves to be honest
Right.
and say, you know what? I did it too. Or
Yeah.
I felt like this, and my part in our marriage or in our relationship, these are the things I neglected here. These are the things that I didn't fix. You know, is that
Correct.
something, is who
Well,
from Louisiana or who? Oh,
yeah, Kurt said you're from Louisiana. He was asking Trey that. And then Sora gets in here and says this. understanding where someone is at in their lifetime. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Thank you, Nightstorm. Excuse me, my bad. Yeah, and you're absolutely welcome, Undertaker. So this is why I do these podcasts, because it's not just for, some people think I do these just for, popularity or clout or something along those lines. This is all therapeutic for all of us, me, and it's also educational, which I'm a big fan of education. So this is all for all of us, not just one select individual. So thank you so much for saying that, Undertaker, because again, this helps you, helps Tammy, helps me, helps Curtis, everybody in the chat. It helps someone, and to me, it's priceless. I need to hear all this. Thank you. And you're absolutely welcome, Undertaker. Thank you so much for being here. Undertaker said, Trey, I'm right there with you. Absolutely. So I was going to ask you, Tammy, I don't know if you heard the news. I think I shared it, and I don't know if you caught it. Maybe I didn't share it with you directly, and if I didn't, I do apologize on that. But a little bit later in the show, what I'm going to do is show a few videos, maybe a couple videos of this big change that's coming within our court system at the higher courts when it comes to our 2A. I think it's it keeps coming up in my For You page on these platforms, and I think it's awesome. If this is the case, man, it's good news for us. And I just look at it like this: if one case, and just keep this in mind because I believe this wholeheartedly, if the 2A is getting a magic or drastic change through the court system, then other laws can follow suit. And I think you know what I'm getting at. And if they can do it, we can do it.
Well, and that was kind of what my push is as a group, as a unified group and a united front. If we can start getting, like we talk about getting organized, and I'm almost there. But once we get different groups to come together in this advocacy and things like that, and then we have memberships, then guess what? Our members who we're protecting under these class action suits, we'll start going after those Eighth Amendment rights violations. We'll start going after some of the other stuff, the laws that need to change. The hearsay law, it needs to go bye-bye. It's ridiculous. That's antiquated and ridiculous. And you know what's sad? If it happened to a judge or somebody in power, like somebody on the Supreme Court justice, if they were to be accused of something like that and have to go through all of that, they might consider changing that law.
Yeah. Well,
so we have a lot of laws.
Yeah. And this law, the reason why this is happening, this is a case that's going through the court right now, which is what we consider case law, and it's unconstitutional. And when I hear something along the lines that has a statement like that says unconstitutional, holy crap, that just gives me so much dang excitement and hope.
Me too.
Because there's so many laws on the books right now, Tammy. I don't even know if you know this, but there's so many laws on the books right now that are so unconstitutional, folks. You have no clue. And man, this is a major game changer. I can't wait to hear what this decision is going to be me.
And just think about Jay, the cases that the cases where we have, oh my goodness, how did I lose it? I'm so sorry, guys.
You're good. You got a lot on your mind. You're good. No, you're fired. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh Lord, y'all have no idea today, the day of days. It was like I got a call. Okay, just imagine this. You're going to work, right? And it's like,
you're good.
I get this pop up in my Microsoft Teams. Hey, how would you like to interview in about 30 minutes? I'm like, oh shit, I don't have makeup on.
I've had that happen to me before.
I'm like, oh my God. Sure, no problem. And I'm like grabbing my makeup and I'm like throwing it on, painting my war paint on, as I call it. Anyway, yeah, it was one of those kind of days, but I was like, but No, just imagine, like, if we could actually have real movement in these cases to the point where it's always one door opens another. I so want to see so much. And I was telling Rick, I said, you know that these guards in Texas get paid $26 an hour. I said, would you do their job for that? And he said, oh hell no. And
Yeah,
I
they're even
thought I thought, well, in Georgia they only get 14 or
right. They're even saying
Mississippi.
that's not enough money. Yeah, I know. But does anybody have any hey, Undertaker? I don't know if you can hear me good enough. Do you have a question for me or Tammy or anybody in the chat? Please ask away if you have any questions regarding anything. Especially when it has something to do with prison. I'll do my best to answer it if possible. If not, I can answer any questions. I got my team in here, so if I can, I'm pretty sure they can. So fire away with your questions, guys, and make sure you hit and smash the like button. I greatly appreciate it. Helps the channel. All right. Trey Stone, a great and positive person to connect with. That Tin Man, he's been MIA, probably busy. I have too. Yeah. Tin Man's got a lot going on right now, Trey. That's all I can say right now. A lot going on. And I don't know what's going to happen next. So I can't answer a lot of that. Sorry for that. So he does have a lot going on. And Curtis said, "I have been in Phoenix. Yeah, so have I many times. I like it, but man, it's a different kind of heat compared to here. That's for dang sure." All right, so looks like I got a question. Undertaker comes in here and says, "I got one. Hope hard was it, or should it be? How hard was it for the forest time you wore cuffs? I've never have been, but I get how it's one bad move, life changes man." All right. I'm trying to make out your question, my friend. How hard was it for first time you wore cuffs? Okay. So it's a cuff question. Fair enough. Thank you so much for your question, my friend. I appreciate that. To answer that question, I had obviously a asshole, if I can say it out on YouTube, asshole of a cop, and he actually had those things on there pretty dang tight. And when he took them off, I had bruises and marks all over my wrist. That's how tight they were. But keep in mind, they're not made for comfort. But they did, however, put them on, I believe anyways, a little bit too tight. So they were very uncomfortable and they did hurt and they left marks. But nonetheless, it is what it is. So yeah, thank you, Undertaker, for your question. I appreciate it.
Here's one that's kind of like a question that I have an answer to, but it says, because as I understand it, smoking is prohibited in all prisons in the USA. How do you
Right.
deal with that? Well, what I found out that they do is they take the Fireball candies, the Red Hots, and they slam them in the doors and break them up into like little like shreds, basically, and they'll stick it in their jawline or their lip like dip.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Or
Is that true?
if
And they smoke something else. I forget what it is.
yeah, you'd be amazed what they do in there. They're so talented, it's like
And creative.
But yeah, creative, I should say. Well, that too. All right, but they can get cigarettes smuggled in there, believe it or not, so they can still smoke. But keep in mind, that was great question, Tammy. Keep in mind, folks, that obviously you don't know how this works. Back in the day, and I can't remember, I think it was like 60s, possibly 70s, smoking was allowed in prison, and they did it. But they took it out because of, I don't know, one or two people complaining that they didn't want to get, sick or cancer or something along those lines. And somebody bitched and complained and it ruined it for everybody else. So they took out smoking. But you could, at one time, believe back in the day, smoke. So great question, Tammy. Trey Stone said this: "What's the future of the channel? I'm thinking on the street, footage, reporting, protecting, etc. That's the goal. Trey, yeah, and keep in mind, I'm going to be taking a little I guess you can say, a little small vacation. And I will be doing I don't know. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do a pre-recorded event or a live event at a abandoned prison. But I mean, I'm going to go there. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to have my family with me, and hopefully somebody will be the camera person so I don't have to hold it while I'm doing all that. But nonetheless, it's going to be an abandoned prison. Orphan Annie is the one that hooked me up with that. So I made a decision on top of everything else to go check that out. So, yes, there is future vendendas, if you will, when it comes to this channel. Just stay tuned. I have to get a car. I don't have a car. So getting around is virtually impossible. But that's the game, and I will be doing what I can to bringing some outside field reporting. Absolutely, especially when the summer gets here and the business picks up even more when it comes to AC issues and all that. So yeah, I'll be out in the field. Just stay with me, guys. I have to get some wheels first. Thank you so much for that, Trey. I appreciate it. That's the goal, anyways.
Here's another one too. Jay and I had talked about also doing some mini series kind of things about different, maybe highlighting some cases that would help others and like do some stories on set things and do like a docudrama series, but it be actually based on fact and true stories of different individuals.
Well, and you made a great point there. I think that this thing 2A thing that's becoming a hot item in talk right now, I think that should be a great series talking about the 2A.
Yeah.
And felons.
Yeah.
You know? But great point, Tammy. And thank you so much for bringing that up, because I want to try to keep this channel excited and, everything on here different, not the same mundane thing all the time. So it's hard.
Here's another good question. Why in prison could I not trade with blacks? Only whites and Hispanics. And this is a white person.
And that's actually happening?
Yeah, I guess it happens in some prisons.
Well, believe it or not, some race things still happen, believe it or not, in prison. That's why they keep everything from a skin thing separated. They keep everything separated. So, and again, I'm not being racist at all here, guys, so don't take this the wrong way. I'm just going by what I've seen. You got your blacks over here, you got your whites over here, you got your Mexicans over here. It's just they keep everything separated because there's a gang thing going on in there now too, and the gangs, it's like high school, but an adult type setting.
Well, you're messing with the gang's money when you trade outside of your.
Right, but
you got the AB.
We still have race. We have race issues in prison. Believe it or not.
AB doesn't like you going outside of that for obvious reasons, because it's their belief system that there's only one, right? And then you have the different ones in the black community, and you have the different ones in the Hispanic, and even amongst the Hispanic, you got different ones that are other countries that are Latino in nature that do not get along with other countries. So you have that whole diversity there too. And you're messing with their money because the money that they make is from smuggling certain items into the prison. You're putting money into another gang's.
Everything in a sense, believe it or not, has a hustle. So
right? Isn't that right though? I mean, think about it. It's like
okay, Curtis.
I had a brother. My brother-in-law. He died if you knew I was telling the story. So I get a call one night, and it's Harris County. And they're like, do you know so-and-so and so? And I was like, yes, that's my brother-in-law. They said, well, you need to come pick him up. We're releasing him, but he's in bad shape. Probably needs to go on over to the hospital when you leave here. And I was like, what happened? So he took it upon himself to try and run a business with some items in another person's business jurisdiction and another ethnicity as well.
Oh, interesting.
And so that ethnicity came in and they cold cocked him with a weapon and almost knocked his eye out of socket. And they beat the living tar out of him. It was terrible. And
Wow.
busted the TV, tore up, ransacked the whole apartment, this and that. And his poor mom, I mean, she was a CNA at the hospital for like, I don't know, 18 years. Over here working herself to death for what, right? So,
Right.
I mean, it's kind of like that kind of thing. You don't go in somebody else's backyard. They have that whole system, right? Like, I don't know. That's just how I picture it in my mind, that you stick with your own group because you're kind of forced to. I mean, and I know there's some people that can go out away from it, like Rick himself. He's not going to get involved. He stays to himself. He'll talk to a couple of guys that he goes to church with, but not much. I mean, he stays to himself. He's a loner. He's going to stay a loner. I mean, he will. He'll talk to him. Somebody talks to him, but he's not going to go hang out with a certain group.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I said what I said earlier. I said that's why everything's separated in different cliques and classes, I guess you can say, because they do that for a lot of reasons. It keeps the drama down, keeps the fights down. You know, it's weird. It's like high school, but from an adult perspective. It's just crazy.
And when you say that, you know what that makes me think of? The show we had before about the heat and everything.
Yeah.
Think about this in the winter and the summer, especially the heat specifically. Everyday people that work out in the heat. I was in construction for 5 years as a general contractor.
Correct.
I don't look like it, but I was. In the middle of July, we were putting up a privacy fence on a 1/4 acre lot. In the middle of July in Texas, you know how hot it was, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
We worked on this
Orphan
2 or 3 days and put the whole fence up the hard way.
Welcome, Orphan. Right.
So people get pissed off and angry and irritated when it's hot. So that's another thing. If they would like be more humane and not break all these 8th Amendments and make it the temp less in there and make the conditions better, they would have a lot less bullshit go on.
Yeah, but like I said to you, I think I want to say private chat when I was talking to you last, don't, and make no mistake about it, this is for everybody too, not just Tammy, but I'm saying in general, I think DOC does a lot of these actions and these issues and these violations on purpose. You cannot tell me that they don't know what they're doing, or they know what they're doing. That's why they're doing it. Yep. And the sad thing is, then we have to pick up the pieces, and guess who gets stuck with the bill? Yeah, the taxpayers. It's double dipping. Nightstorm says this. Yes, there are some spirits stuck because of certain factors within prison. That is why you have a person who can sense them with you. Yeah, I truly believe that. A lot of prisons that are empty are haunted. They say this one I'm going to is, so who knows? I might catch some stuff. I don't know. I think it's really cool nonetheless. Anyways, there it is. Orphan gets in here. Orphan's in here, Tammy, just so you know. Orphan said a heart to Curtis. And Curtis says, thanks, Annie. And Curtis said, love you too. And Orphan said, Curtis, thumbs up. And everyone is awesome here. Absolutely. Well, that's what makes this. And Cynthia's in here, Tammy. So say hi to Cynthia.
Hi, Cynthia. Hi, everybody.
Drive safe, Cynthia. Don't get in a wreck because of me.
That's what I was about to say.
Don't get in a wreck because of me. You can listen with your ears, not with your eyes.
Here's one for you, Jay. What are the necessary items for someone going to jail or prison? Why are they needed, and how can one prepare for it?
Can you repeat the question again, please?
What are some necessary items for someone going to jail or prison? Why are they needed, and how can one prepare for that?
Okay, items like personal items?
Well, they didn't get specific. I'm reading some different things off of some Quora chats that I follow.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a great question. It depends. Again, I need more detail, but nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and guess here respectfully. Items. For first off, this ain't an item. This is a thing that you actually have to have when you go in there. If you don't have it, you're going to be a target. Number one is respect. Respect. If you guys want to take notes, remember that. Because again, keep in mind, if you don't have any respect in there going in, your time is going to be rough.
Yeah, and let me say something on that whole respect issue too. Respect for yourself as well as the people around you.
That's a
Because
great.
if you have hygiene issues and stuff, they're not going to put up with that.
No, they will fight you for that too. Believe it or not, you got to have good hygiene.
And
Thank
the
you,
thing is,
Nightstorm. I will do my best when I get over there. When I get over there, Nightstorm, I'll do my best to try to get the history on this place. I guess they do tours, so I might have a tour guide with me. I don't know. We'll see how long it pans out. We'll see how it turns out. But nonetheless, I'm going to do my best on that. So thank you so much for that. So before the time runs out, I said I was going to show some videos. I think it's about time we do that now before my time runs out. Tammy, if you have any more questions, let me know. I will try to get them up here. Or anybody in the chat has questions for us or me, I will do what I can to answer them. But let me get these second A, 2A videos up here. So let's bear with me on that, guys. Okay. Settings. Okay. Oops. All right, we're gonna play this video and then we're gonna play some other videos.
Attention to all the felons up there. Y'all need to go tap in the big felon. I'm gonna tag them down below. Y'all need to go get this book, man. That's a lot of good information in
My
here.
volume's all the way up.
Unfortunately for me, I had to wait a little bit longer, but I didn't even know it was possible. He gives you the step-by-step guide. You don't need no lawyer. You're wasting money. All you need is this book right here. I got mine off of Amazon, but I think he does sell them here on TikTok also. But you can buy the whole book. It's got all the states, or you can buy it by region. Me, I live in the southeast region, so I got the southeast region book. It is a little bit cheaper. But yeah, step-by-step guide breaks everything down for you. Tells you where to file this stuff at. Everything is in this book, guys. So as soon as my time passes, a little bit of time I gotta wait. You can best believe I'm gonna have my gun right back. Y'all can tap in with this video.
Okay, so there's that one, guys, and here's another one. Where did it go? I gotta find it now.
it's basically talking about get the book to know your rights to get your
yeah.
gun license.
I hope you guys can hear this.
We can't. Maybe if you put your mic.
That's weird because my volume's all the way up.
So Duarte is a young member of the LA street gang with 5 prior felony convictions and a recent conviction of felony possession of a firearm. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals had to determine whether a blanket prohibition on felony possession of a firearm violated the Second Amendment. So the case law that they're measuring this against is the Bruen case of 2022, which came out of New York, which determined that they have to assess the Second Amendment rights through claims of dual lens, which is through text and historical tradition of the country, which means the regulation of firearms must be done through the historical context from the founding time of the country. So the Bruen case had an effect across the entire country, which in the simplest context, it turned states from may issue states to shall issue states. For example, states like New York, if you wanted to still carry a license, you had to show a need for self-defense before actually getting one and being approved. The Supreme Court deemed that a violation of the Second Amendment, saying that you should not have to prove self-defense before being allowed to defend yourself.
Imagine that.
So through the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, the phrase "the people" is referenced in the preamble in many of the amendments. And the majority of the judges in that panel found that Duarte is among the people protected by the Second Amendment. They rejected the notion that there's a distinction between virtuous and non-virtuous citizens when it comes to the Second Amendment. The judges pointed out that many of the crimes that are considered felonies as of now would not have been considered felonies in the founding days, and that even the punishments then wouldn't have included the loss of a firearms right. They recognize that a blanket prohibition might be good for policy, but the Constitution needs a more precise look. Their decision suggests that felons convicted of violent crimes might still be lawfully deprived of their firearm rights, even under historical analysis, but that was not the case for non-violent offenders. Even in the Bruin Supreme Court case, they refer to law-abiding citizens, and they don't consider felons to fit under that classification. And they also recognize that the Heller case also still has legal standing and is a lawful way to ban felons from possession of a firearm. So to sum this all up, no, this does not mean that if you have a non-violent felony, you are just good to possess a firearm as of right now. What it does mean is that there is current case law that is still pending that may change that outcome in the very near future. The analysis by the Ninth Circuit Court is extremely significant when it comes to the Second Amendment and its understanding and its practice. This is one of those things that you're going to have to pay close attention to as the updates happen. I'll try to keep you updated, but this is something significant happening on the Supreme Court level that could change the way we do things, just like Bruin did in 2022.
So there it goes. There's that. And I'll come back in the chat now. What do you guys think about that so far? Interesting stuff, isn't it? You know, very, very interesting. Let's see what the chat has to say. Curtis said this, shower everything you're allowed, or show everything you're allowed. Okay, shower. All right, moving down to next. Orphan said, older prison cells usually have an average size of 48 square feet with dimensions of 6 feet by 8 feet. Yeah, if not smaller. Now, keep in mind, right, and keep in mind, Orphan, the shoe or the hole or IMU or segregation is even smaller than that. So imagine that. So more information from Orphan. The standard size of a prison cell can vary depending on the age of the prison, the type of prison, state regulations, and the number of inmates. Absolutely correct. Thank you, Orphan, for that info. I appreciate you on that. Also, Orphan said, a prison is a secure facility where inmates are detained and their rights are restricted. Yeah, correct. And Kurt said, sounds good. I think so. And Orphan says, 4 common designations of different security levels are minimum security, medium security, closed security, and maximum security. Yep, absolutely. They're all different security levels, which also gives you different things that you can and cannot do.
But what's weird, like here in Texas,
Thank you, Orphan.
they mix those security levels together.
Oh,
They
man.
can have any, we're called G1, G2, G3, G4, G5.
Imagine that.
G5 is your capital murder, that kind of thing. G4, certain things. G3 is what a lot of people go in as, and after they've been in a while, they'll either take them down or bring them up, depending on how they act. But they will have prisons that were like, they will have some G1 and G2 only, but like a lot of them, they have all of them at the same place. It's just stupid.
That's got to be a headache.
like-
I don't know how that
I'm
can
like,
run like that.
why the hell would you do that? And why, like, there is no rhyme or reason why they run the prisons the way they do. And I found out something today that I was like, oh, really? So there's a major violation where he's at. Oh, no. It's built for 3,300 and something inmates.
Mm-hmm.
There's like
Actions, not distractions. How's it going?
There's like
Sorry, go ahead,
5,000, over 5,000 inmates there right now. And not
Wow.
only is there 5,000 inmates, which is like 2,000 too many, they're housing them in the gym on the floor.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah. I was like, are you serious right now?
Right. Yeah, that's crazy shit. But man, so before we bounce out of here, which I don't know, should I bounce out or stay in? I got 17 people in here plus others watching on other platforms. Does anybody have any questions for the team or the panel or me or the chat? As you guys can see in the title description, it's Q&A tonight. I like to do these every now and then just to see where everybody stands, see if everybody's been paying attention. Here's Curtis's comment. Curtis said, honestly, here in Kansas, you have to expunge your record, and if you're on the registry, you're not allowed to. That sounds like a major no-no. Interesting.
Well, you can expunge records in Texas too, but if you're on the registry, you cannot get expungement.
That sounds like a violation, though. That doesn't sound right.
Well, if you're on the registry, that is one of the things that is kind of written in to some of the sentencing now as well, that they can't get expungement. And I think that is a worthy cause to start fighting about, because there are several people that are on the registry, because they'll even put children on there. We all know that, right?
Oh yeah, I think the youngest
child have to be on that for like 40, 50, 100 years, like,
because they somewhere along the line, Tammy, the common sense that like you and I have is that they feel that it's a threat to society. The youngest, if you don't know this, I think the youngest is 5.
Yeah, that's absolutely, you're correct. The youngest
5 years old. Now, what kind of threat can a 5-year-old bring to me or my kids or my family? Really?
Like, I don't know. They're just sick. The people that make the laws are sick. They're sick. I don't know what to say about them.
It's just, I can't wrap my mind around it. Some of this stuff is just, where do they come up with these stupid ass laws for that to allow that to happen?
I don't know. It's kind of like a person that is guilty of the shit they're making the laws on, so that they can like keep everybody over there where they're not. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, they're the one that stole it, but yet you're holding the item that was stolen in your hand, hiding it in your sleeve. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, the people that make these laws are some of the people that are the problem. That's why I wanted to do Epstein and P. Diddy, because I promise you, if they were even halfway honest about, they killed that man for a reason. They unalived him.
Oh, absolutely, they killed that man. Regardless of what he supposedly did, they killed him because they didn't want him to talk.
Yeah, because the people that were on the real list, the list that nobody wants to really show, is a bunch of politicians and former lawyers. Look how many. Okay, can we all agree that Congress sucks? I mean, sorry, I'm speaking anti-government. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Can we all
you can hurt my feelings, Amy.
Congress sucks. Everybody thinks Congress sucks. Raise your hand, say aye. But let me say this. So, we all agree that Congress sucks, but the majority of Congress, if you go from the beginning of time to now, most of them are lawyers. They're friggin' lawyers.
And corrupt.
We have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. We do.
Yeah, Houston, we have a problem. Yeah.
Or we can just say, imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that. There you go. I should do that, huh?
Yeah. Imagine that.
We should do the ding ding. Imagine that. Where'd it go? Here it is. There it is on the screen. Imagine that.
I agree, Orphan. So how do we get it done? That's what we need to do. We need to work on that kind of stuff. How do we get them to stop? Listen, we need to start getting in the mindset of discipline versus punishment.
Absolutely,
Punishment
Orphan.
does not work. Discipline does. Education, rehabilitation, counseling, support systems, networking, guidance. We can't do it without being a village, guys. It cannot be done.
Correct.
You cannot rehabilitate someone without the village mentality.
And Nightstorm said this, but my Fragile X syndrome is border on autism spectrum. Hey, you're not alone, Nightstorm. If I may say this real quick, kind of not to get off topic real quick. I know you're on a roll there, Tammy. Forgive me. No. But I want her to know, or I hope it's a her. Forgive me for not.
Tell everybody.
Anyways, my 2 kids have autism. It's on the, what is it called? Asperger's syndrome spectrum. So I can relate to what you're talking about. So, I know what you're going through. I know what it's like. Just, I'm right there with you.
So when you get somebody with Asperger's in prison, what do? You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, We have to help people help themselves.
Well, I've
We
said
have
many times. I've
to
said
do
many
that.
times, Tammy. Yeah, I agree with you. I said many times, Tammy, and everybody in the chat. I think mental people don't deserve prison. I think mental people need to go somewhere else with that. So, because obviously mental is what caused them to act up, anyways, but they don't know what they're doing because of the mental condition they're under. You see what I'm saying? I just think it's. I'm totally just different on it. I'm punishment. Mental people should not be punished. How about that?
Nobody should be punished. They should be disciplined. They should be taught. And see, we have cases where, and there's a case right now that's kind of hitting me, but there's a case where somebody unalived another person that could have all been prevented had that person that unalived the person
Mm-hmm.
gotten mental help when they were a child.
Mm-hmm.
There was recognition that there was something wrong with this person a long time ago, that something wasn't working right. We
Mm-hmm.
could create every damn thing under the book. We could make flying drones that can deliver anything anywhere. We could do all
Yep.
this. We make
All this technology.
airplanes, subways, submarines, battleships, AI. We've created all this stuff, but we can't fix mental illness. We can't
It's all
fix
about
a
the.
prison system.
It's all about the
Give
money.
me a friggin' break.
Mm-hmm.
It's all smoke and mirrors, folks.
Yep. And I
It's
wanted to
like
say,
anything else. It's just a way for them to legalize slavery. If you ask me, all day, every day, any way you turn it, is legalized slavery. That's
and
what
I
it
wanted to
is.
let you know too, Tammy, too, when I was going to say earlier about the 5-year-old, the youngest on the res is 5. I think it is. If I'm right, if I'm wrong, look it up. But I could have swore
No,
it's 5.
it's a
But
yeah.
what I was getting at earlier, I forgot to say it. Do you know what the charge was to get him on that?
Yeah, he kissed the little girl on the face, on the mouth.
What it was? I don't think it was a student. It was a teacher. He went up and kissed the teacher on the cheek.
Well, there might have been that one too, but there was a case of one student kissing another, and she
Okay,
didn't
well
want to
that
be
maybe
kissed.
that's what it is then. But
According to
regardless, are
her
you serious right
parents,
now?
according to her parents, she was an unwilling participant of being sexually harassed. I know, roll your eyes, please, because all I can think to myself is he probably saw his parents kiss one of another, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Back in my day, we used to do that out of respect or just say hi sometimes, or, we did it all the time, but it was not sexual. I don't get it.
We make stuff into sexual things that aren't, and it's
It's
ridiculous.
disgusting. It's
It's a
disgusting.
societal problem, and if you think things like that, then maybe you're part of the problem, not the child.
Yeah.
And that's, you
It's
know
not
what
fair
I'm
for
saying? The people that do that and raise Cain about stupid stuff.
it's not
Yeah.
it's not fair for the child. Not fair. All right. Orphan said the problem is the system we live under. It's not meant to work in our favor. Absolutely. The system, as you guys remember, is over 200 years old. Keep that in mind. Take notes. The system's over 200 years old. I did a short video on that. It was designed to make all us fail or rather suffer. Absolutely, it is. It's not kept up with 2024 times. And my good friend Curtis says, I do suffer at times. We all do, buddy. We all do. But we just got to keep our head up, held high, and right off in the sunset. We'll get through this. We're going to get through this. We're going to win.
We can win this. I mean, guys, we're a tribe. We're gonna make tribes all over the place where they can't stop us.
Correct.
That's what we're gonna do.
Correct. Absolutely. Thank you, Nightstorm. You guys are on fire tonight. Appreciate you guys. Nonetheless, did you want me to stay in here a little bit longer, or what did you want me to do, Tammy?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I mean, if he calls, I'll get off, but I'll stay on with you guys. Curtis, can I tell you something?
Go ahead.
I've fought demons my whole life, and I think we all have them, and I think we all fight them. But I will tell you something. I want you to just glance over your shoulder and think about all the places and all the demons you fought to get to be where you are right now. All the ones that you kicked their ass, you took their names, and you didn't think twice about it. You fought through all of that to be the great human being you are. And so nobody can ever take that from you. That's one thing I always tell Rick. I'm like, you know what, babe? I said, they can't take what's between those two ears, your mind, what's in that chest, your heart. They can do whatever they want to you physically every day, all day long. They can neglect you. They can do all this stuff, but they cannot take the love that I feel for you, the love you feel for me, and all the wonderful things you've done.
Correct.
They can't take that from you. So don't forget that, Curtis. And we love you very much.
Yeah. So, Curtis, if you heard that message from Tammy that came from the heart, she meant it. And what I've said to you in numerous private chats, what I've said to you on numerous times, I meant it too as well. I want you to know, even though your time on this planet is rough, you're going to have, like me and others, you're going to go through that storm. But man, there's a rainbow at the end of it. So don't give up. I told you many times, man, we're going to get through this. Every one of us. You're not alone. We're going to get through this.
I do know what I was going to tell you, guys, the other day. I got to pull it up so I can read it to you. This really bothered me. And
I'll stay in here for another half hour. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to know everybody's opinion on this. I'm going to try and hopefully we'll get through it before Rick calls, if I can get to it. Hang on. Okay. Let me see here. Just 1 second, guys. I'm so sorry. I'll get to it. I promise.
No, take your time while you're doing that. Hey, Curtis, never give up. That's right. Don't give up, Curtis.
Nope. Never give up. This morning, this is somebody else, an inmate writing to their loved one. The loved one said, the person that posted it said, "This hurts my heart. What can we do about this? Animals literally gets treated better than our loved ones. My loved one has also said the guard told him, I don't care if y'all eat, like really." And so this is what her loved one had wrote her in a message. This morning, Sunday, June 9th, 3:30 a.m. to 4 a.m., breakfast chow was called, and all got to go except for us. Cell 217 and 216, 319, and 126. They denied us access to eat. It's like they running provoking experiments. It's already bad enough we don't have AC. It's over 90 degrees. We don't feel a lick of air and can barely breathe. So that was one post that really bothered me. And then here was another one. Does anybody else have a loved one on O-Wing that is having to sleep with sewer water dripping on them?
That's disgusting.
And then this advocate wrote, had they put in an I-60 to maintenance and told the wing boss about the issue? Yes, they had lied, and they lied after the I-60 and said there was no dripping water. I've contacted Brian Collier. Brian Collier runs TDC. Jay, any of y'all have anybody in Texas? Brian Collier, he's the one to hound. He's the top dog, the top piece of crap. And then this other lady wrote, I'm going to go in the morning, and to my congressman gave me our senator's number, so I guess I'm going to have to call him also. Yes, and maintenance said can't find where it is coming from and can't fix it. The captain moved my loved one to another cell last night, and then the officer came back this morning and told him to pack up because he was going to be moved back, and if he didn't, then he was going to seg. And then somebody said, let me see, wait, hang on, that he was going to solitary and give him another case. So I called back and talked to the same captain, and he was mad and said he was going to take care of it. Well, apparently he didn't, because my loved one is having to sleep in sewer water tonight, and I don't know what else to do. Then somebody else said, how frustrating and gross. Maybe send the warden an email about what's going on, and this way there's there's evidence about the issue and that and what was said too. I hope it's taken care of real soon. Then she wrote back, and here's the issue, guys. It is taken care of now. They placed him in a better cell. So now that loved one or that wife or that spouse is not going to say nothing else, and it's just going to go away till the next guy gets in there and has to lay under that same pipe. You get me? When you have a problem, folks, when you have a problem, reach out to Jay and I so that we can get on it, stay on top of it until whatever that issue is fixed, not just for your loved one, but for every loved one that goes in there thereafter.
Correct.
This is what I was kind of pinning on about the heat restrictions and stuff. That shit needs to be bitched about year round. Every day. Every day.
Well,
they should be bugged to death about heat restriction because...
Well, we shouldn't technically have any of it.
We shouldn't, but we can't just go, okay, well, my loved one's not suffering anymore, so I don't give a shit. He's good, so I'm going to leave it alone. We have to band together to help each other because your loved one may be okay right now, but 6 months from now when he gets moved to another unit, is he going to be okay?
Yeah.
We need to start banding together so that we can get people to realize if you don't want this group over here getting involved, because if they get involved, they're not going to let up till something's done. That's what we need to flip the script, kind of like I said in the courtroom where we have all these public pretenders.
Yeah.
Sorry if it offends you. If it offends you, you're a public pretender. Too bad.
Correct. No, right, exactly. No, you make a great point. And just like Orphan said right here, I don't think juveniles, and I agree with this, and I think you do too, Tammy, I don't think juveniles should get life sentences without the possibility of parole, period. I don't think long sentences work at all, period.
Curtis, they're not just getting punished, they're getting abused.
Absolutely.
It is abuse, and abuse is a crime. Physical, mental, emotional abuse is a friggin' crime. I am so sick and tired of people not getting charged. And Annie, I agree with you and Jay 100%. No one. Yeah. Like, I mean, we have to fix what's broken. They don't want to.
Yeah, and I'll just say Whitco, because I cannot pronounce your first name, so I do apologize. I don't know if I'm beating it up. But anyways, nonetheless, he said this, and I need to stop judging prosecutors by convictions. They need to be judged by the righteous convictions. What do you think about that, Tammy?
I have to see a righteous conviction first.
Yeah.
That's not nice. I'm sure there are some out there that really care about their job, but in 53 years, I haven't seen very many, but I would have to agree that if they do have a righteous conviction, I'm not saying there's not criminals out there. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I am just seeing way too many people.
Me too.
Way too many people that they're coming back and finding out the prosecutors withheld evidence that would clear a defendant. There would be no reason to have there would be no reason to have to go back and do writs and
Thank you, Mark.
appeals if the prosecutors were doing their job the way it was meant to be done.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought here. But anyways, I get what you're saying, Tammy. Mark said this: a dog with a hair lip, Mark. And the reason I say that is because a lot of times prosecutors go for convictions and don't worry if the guy is guilty. Yeah, because I'll say this, and I think I'm going to go ahead and speak on this real quick. Believe it or not, folks, convictions is a point, if you will. Look it up. Convictions, whether it's the prosecutor side or the defense side, prosecutions are a point under their belt to take their level to the next level so they can be on the bench, become a judge. So it's like, how many wins can you get to have a good track record to be a judge? That's all for. I don't know if anybody knew that.
Absolutely.
Let's see. There is some, Orphan said, there is some suck and twisted stuff going on beyond armed guards in these prisons. Oh, absolutely. You are not going to rehabilitate, that's a tongue twister for me, someone with mental, physical, or spiritual and emotional abuse and torture. No, you can't. I'll put it this way. It's going to take a long time. I know somebody personally. Yeah. Mark said, Safeway Georgetown, by their convictions rate, it's in their benefit to get false convictions. Yep. Orphan said, you are going to create a bigger and stronger monster with abuse and torture. Absolutely, because there's a thing called, I don't want to say the word rebel, but it's like payback. You create a monster, you're going to get a monster. You guys all seen Frankenstein.
Well, that's
Mark
the
said,
whole point, because they want the recidivism to stay up, not go down.
yeah, because if they fix the system, that means no more money coming in. So think about that. And then Mark said, no thanks needed. Thank you guys for all you're doing. You guys are doing good things. Absolutely. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate you for that. Nightstorm said this: if they show no remorse to the victim, it's likely a factor. Correct. Mark said this, and now is a very good time to do that. In a whole country is starting to wake up to the fact of how corrupt the system is. Yeah, slowly but surely. I agree, Mark. Thank you. And Curtis, my friend Curtis said this: 2 wrongs don't make it right. Never. I remember when I heard that first, those words from my grandparents when I was a little kid. I'm like, what? Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Let's see what Nightstorm says. Transgender people within prisons are likely to be abused within the prisons.
They are.
They are very highly targeted.
My sister has been abused multiple times.
Which makes that person, it does things to you.
Mm-hmm.
It does things to your mind, your spirit.
It messes you up. It totally destroys it destroys your psyche.
And this whole vigilante crap. Come on, guys, like, really? And I mean, we just can't honestly sit here and preach that we want justice for victims and then go in there and do the very same things, if not worse.
I know a few people like that.
To people, and call ourselves righteous.
Yeah.
Where in the hell? No. So you have an angry person. Say you have an angry person, a little kid. You have 2 little kids. One's angry and one's just there, right? And one's got a happy home life, whatever. The angry kid maybe lost to parents, hurt and mad and angry. So the angry kid lashes out and hits the happy kid because they don't understand. So do we punish angry kid, or do we find out what's at the root of the problem and teach the angry kid how to love and be happy? That's where we got to get to things, because if we punish angry kid, what happens? Angry kid sits there, sulks, and is more angry because they're being punished now. They're being singled out. They're being ostracized more, which might have caused the anger to begin with. Yeah.
And what good does that do?
Nothing. It's not good for society.
How do you
to the kid?
Right. So how do you change that or fix that? I mean, I already know the answer, but yeah, how do you fix that?
I mean, it depends on the kid. Is the kid mentally have issues, or is the kid in a house where a parent died, or is the kid in a house where mom's getting the crap beat out of her every night?
Correct. They're not born like this. They're taught this.
Correct. Is the kid being abused by mom or dad? I mean, like, that's the problem. Find the problem. Find the real culprit. If somebody's sick, we treat.
Thank you, Mark, for that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mark, for the 20. I appreciate you, Mark. God bless you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. Awesome. carry on.
We appreciate the support, and Jay definitely does. And the thing is, here's the thing, guys. It's just like medicine and illnesses and doctors.
Yeah.
You'll find one rare gem of a doctor. One rare gem. Remember that show with Robin Williams, Patch Adams? He was the doctor. He played the doctor. That's a true story. If you haven't seen it, I recommend watching it. Anyway, in that, he shows where laughter and happiness and all these things and treating patients like human beings instead of another case file actually healed his patients, a lot of them. And so we keep not fixing the problem. We're just going to throw medicine at it. We're just going to throw punishment at it. If you don't notice, two of the biggest things that make money, prisons and pharmaceuticals. And their whole blueprint is the same. We're going to do everything to make it worse on you instead of better. Because we make more money having to shove all these meds down your damn throat. We keep you suffering and sick.
Mm-hmm.
You know who caused the heroin problem?
Who
caused the heroin problem? The pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, I knew that already. Yeah.
The meds that everybody was on and got addicted to. Then they created all the methadone clinics and all of that, and the drugs to counteract the very drug that they initially created to create the whole epidemic. So they made money off the first go round, then they made money off of the supposed cure. Come on. Like, we got to wise up as people. We got to start realizing what our problems are in our quote unquote villages and start bringing the tribes together and create villages that are safe for our kids, for our spouses, for our significant others, our partners, whatever have be it that you are, no matter what color you are, religion you are, what class you are, doesn't matter. We need to get back to that reality of loving one another and helping each other grow in a good way.
Well, we need to put our like, for example, and I don't know if you understand this, but me personally, how I was raised, we need to put our differences, our beefs, our judgmental mindset aside.
Yep.
And really, really listen to somebody that's been through hell and back, like you, like me, like Curtis, and give these people a second look or a second chance. Not like, okay, yes, I'm living my second chance, and so is Curtis. What I'm getting at, though, in a different perspective, stop judging somebody's past and look at their possible future that they have ahead of us. Everybody wants to live in that dark past. But I'm sorry, have you ever noticed when you're driving your car, you have a small little mirror on your windshield? It's small like that for a reason. But the bigger picture is right in front of your face, in front of you. We need to stop looking behind us and look forward. And that's what's wrong with this society. Everybody wants to live in the past and talk about your past. I don't live back there anymore. I moved out. Tammy?
I love this. Whitco. We find out what's at the root of the problem.
Thank you, Nightstorm.
The village does not feed. It is the child that will burn the village down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mark said that.
Let it hit home. Let it hit home. Let it hit home.
It does. Mark said this: children come in this world innocent and hurt. And innocent. A hurt child needs to be mentored, and shown positive ways to deal with his anger and hurt. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We
both
need to
me
fix
and
what caused the anger and hurt.
Right. Both me and my other sibling at the time, it was my brother, now it's a she. Both me and my brother at the time were hurt. But I dealt with it. I have a stronger mind, not to brag or sound like I'm more better than she is. I had a stronger mindset, so I dealt with it differently. I stood up for myself, and I fought. I fought. This is who I am. But my sister or brother, however you want to look at it, didn't do too much with that. And because it was the weak link of the chain, she got the shitty end of the stick all the time, which caused her to snap, I believe, and why she's in prison today.
Well, and on that note, I want to say something, Jay. I want to read something to everybody, and I hope it makes everybody give pause, maybe. At some point, you just got to tell people, I love you, and I'll love you forever, but I'm no longer interested in the level of life you have to offer me.
Mhm.
I'm not asking you to change,
We
but
can't
I need
force
you
them.
to
Right.
understand. I need you to understand that you can do what you want to do and how you want me to do it. You just can't do that with me.
Mhm.
In other
Right.
words, you're respecting that they're who they are, but that doesn't, and you can love someone, but it doesn't mean you've got to carry their burdens with you.
Correct. Fair
You
enough.
have your own burdens to bear. So you guys
Mhm.
gotta remember to move forward. Sometimes you have to cut cords. There are cords that we gotta cut out of our
Right.
life. They're attached to us. They'll
Orphan Annie
pull us
sent you a
down.
rose. Orphan Annie sent you a
Oh,
rose, Tammy.
thank you, Annie. I just love everybody. Wanda is not here tonight, but I am gonna reach out to her. I've just had a really
I tagged her. I told her about the show, but I think she's got a lot going on.
she has a lot going on. She's been working too. She's really tired. But I guys, please also show her some love if you
Yeah.
can by her channel as well too.
We are doing what we can. Me and Tammy, in a ways, are trying to help her in her case situation. I hope that she understands that and knows that we're there for her because
I actually talked to Rick about her case a little bit since he has such a diverse medical background.
mhm.
And a spleen is really hard to do that much damage to without some kind of
her case
significant
has got
injury.
Her case Tammy has got some god dang many holes in it.
It's terrible.
You know, nothing's adding up. But all
Mm.
right, real quick before we continue or before we get out of here, because I've been in here an hour and a half now, so I did a kind of a special thing for you guys on that. Real quick, the chat said, Orphan, sending Wanda love, peace, and joy. Absolutely, that's all we can do, and that's what we need you guys to continue to do. Also, send prayers to my friend Tammy. She's going through a lot too. Everybody in the chat actually needs prayers. Of course, I'm going through my own personal stuff, but I don't try not to advertise it. But I will keep you guys updated on anything that happens with me. As you guys know, I got my fair share of drama, and it never ends. But with that being said, just keep us all in your prayers. We all definitely need it. We're here for you as much as possible. I advocate who I can. If people reach out to me, I'm going to do my best to help you. But I'm on overload. I can't do it by myself. So again, just keep us in your thoughts and prayers because we definitely need it. This work is a very, very hard, dirty job, and not many people can do this job. But I'm going to be busy. It's going to pick up. But I got a vacation coming. It's long overdue. It's definitely needed. It'll give me a chance to disconnect and recharge my inner batteries, if you will. I will have pictures and all that on my YouTube channel on the community tab or community page. If you want to keep updated on what I'm doing, I will put the pictures up there. I will be probably live at that prison over there too, just so you guys can have a treat with that and see that. So I'll keep you guys updated. But coming up real quick before I bounce out of here, guys, thank you guys for the chat. I appreciate you. Coming up on June 20th, we have our 6-year anniversary being on here on YouTube. We got some prizes to win. So I'm hoping you guys are definitely in need of some prizes. I can't tell you what they are, but if you want that prize, you want the grand prize, I want you guys to tune in on June. I'm going to do it on Man's Night, so it'll be June 21st. Celebrating June 20th, 6 years being on YouTube celebration. I think it's going to be epic, and it's going to be as long as it takes to get the questions asked, and whoever's the winner gets the grand prize. There will be also a second and third place winner, but I can't tell you what those are. So I hope you guys tune in for that, and we'll make a big event out of it and celebrate the 6 years right here with your host, Jay, from Inside Out. Tammy, anything on your closing argument?
Not really, guys. Please grant me patience and lots of patience.
Yeah, well, we all need that.
I've got all weekend to simmer over
Yeah.
this stuff that I'm pissed about. So, guys, listen. At the end of the day, you've all come this far. You're in here. You're doing positive things. I know some of you personally, and I think the world of you. I
We got a good
admire.
team in here. We got a
I
good team in here.
admire every one of you for what you do every day, just getting up and putting one foot in front of the other. And as long as we continue to do that and we're taking those steps, it's in the right direction.
Correct. Absolutely.
I always tell
Uh,
Rick what's not in our DNA, and he said quitting. Because I used to always tell him quitting isn't in our DNA. We're not going to quit. We're not going to give up. We're going to be like that dog that took a bite out of that bone, and we're not going to
Well,
give up the bone.
like they said, life wasn't supposed to be easy, or is easy, and we're gonna have bumps in the road, and it's gonna get dirty. There's gonna be, there's gonna be things on our hands that we're not gonna like, but we have to plow through it with all the marks and the bruises and the scrapes and the cuts, just to get at the end of that rainbow. So we have to keep pushing through this storm, or the storm is gonna kick our ass. So
Exactly.
it is what it is. It is what it is. It's not about this. It's about this. You can tell me you're strong all you want physically, but at the end of the day, how strong are you here?
That's right.
So, it is what it is. And then, of course, I think I put that up. If not, Mark said this, and that's something we can do to do people that have been through things that are bad. Summer. Yeah, God's greatest works were sinners. Look at Saul, who became Paul. Yeah, absolutely agree. Thank you, Mark, for that. And Nightstorm said we got a Discord. I can't remember if I do or not. I'm going to have to go through my stuff and find it, and if I do, I'll put it back up here. I can't do it tonight, obviously, but I have to double check. I have so many things I forget what I have and don't have. So I'm so disorganized. Fire me now. Kick my.
What do I
so
always say, Jay?
No, yeah, don't say it. All right. Anyways, no, I love you guys. I love you guys. But anyways, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and back out of here again. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being here. Tammy, again, much love. Thank you so much for being here and doing all the hard work behind the scenes that you do for me and this network and all that, and plus your stuff. I wouldn't. I'm lost for words. But thanks again for all your
Rick,
work.
I said he messed up. I said, man. I know Jay was sitting there in his head. Tammy's not coming back tonight. She's not coming back tonight.
What am I going to do with you guys? Yeah. Joe D. Mesna, Bring the Rain. Absolutely. Yeah. Bring the Rain. That's that. Yeah. No, I like the way I like the term "Bring the Rain." Somebody else said that in the movie too. I can't remember where it was, but Bring the Rain. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it. Hopefully, see you guys on my celebration. Hope to see you guys in my vacation. No matter what it is, I'm going to try to do what I can to try to keep this excitement here on this channel. Just stay tuned and do what we can, and you guys will see what was coming up next. All right. So stay tuned, guys, for the excitement. With that being said, I'm your host, Jay. I will see you guys in the next one. Good night, everybody. Good night, Tammy.
Good night.